Alrighty, guys. Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos. And we are broadcasting to the world live from Phoenix, Arizona. Today is an open panel. You don't have to feel pressured to call in. I just like to create these live streams to give you the opportunity to call in when you want to. But we're going to take it real chill. Probably focus in on the chat as much as possible. I know we do a lot of live streams and we don't get the opportunity to answer all the questions that are presented in the chat. This kind of helps a little bit. I do want to give a quick shout out to Incognito Society for posting a tribute to Hoosier the Bruiser, who was a great friend of mine. She said, I know this sounds a bit corny, but that leaf you see in the picture kept wanting to stay. I would swipe away with my shoe and it would blow back. So I said out loud, fine, Bruiser. I'll keep the leaf in your picture. It was so windy out there at the memorial park. My hair was blowing all in my face, but the leaf wouldn't budge. Kind of reminded me of Bruiser, stubborn. And he was extremely stubborn. He was a great guy. And I do miss him dearly. Welcome in Pepper Westwood. So we'll probably hang out for about an hour. You don't need to feel pressured to call in, but I do feel a little bit bad that I can't spend more time with the comments in the chat. So these little live streams kind of help with that. They're dedicated to the chat and anybody that wants to call in, and if you want to skip the chat and you don't want to wait for your comment to be called on, all you have to do is hit that link. That goes for anybody. Good to see you, Jill Moser, Melissa Wildcard, Patty, Christine, Shane. So we'll hang out for about an hour. Ziggy, good to see you as always. Stephanie, thank you. Shane says, rest in peace, Bruiser. Getting into my old age, middle aged, really. I learned a lot, and I didn't have a whole lot. I used to have a crew when I was younger. We did everything together, and then people backstabbing each other, things like that. But I didn't have a good friend for a long time. I went probably 10 years without having somebody I would consider my best friend. And after spending about 6 months of time, talking with Bruiser, we spoke every day for hours. He was the first person that I had ever considered a best friend of mine. and he passed away. You know, it broke my heart. He was there for me during a really rough time, and I'll never forget it. What's up, Chelsea? What's going on? Grunge truck. Kitty cat. Hey, Julia. Brad. Always good to see you. Chelsea. Louise. Kate B. Melissa. Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie. He was a good guy. Really was. So we're only going to hang out for about an hour. I just want to give you guys an opportunity to speak your piece. Call in if you want to. You don't have to feel pressure to. But I always feel bad leaving the live streams, and there's probably hundreds of comments that I wasn't able to get to. So today we focus on the comments, and if you want to call in, there you go. Thank you, Louise. Pitbull Mom, good to see you. It depends, Shane. Anybody can call in if they want to. We can have 6 call-ins, we can have 0, You never know. I just like to kind of give you guys the opportunity if you'd like to. But you don't have to feel pressure to. Melissa says you are, Shane. Sometimes we have no callers. Sometimes we have 6. Yeah, where's that Scottish accent? Here, I got one. I think I do anyway. Oh, here it is.
He wasn't right in the hat.
That's more Irish. Shane, Melissa, I'm drunk tonight. Thought it was a Delphi free day, but it didn't work out. Looks like we do have a caller. This is Miss Lover. How you doing?
Hi, you can always rely on me.
How you doing? What's on your mind?
Oh, a bit upset at the moment, actually. I don't know if you've seen the news. Liam Payne has died, 31.
Who's Liam Payne?
From One Direction. The boy band.
Let me see. Liam Payne.
Just so young, and it's just, it's triggered me from what's happened in my family.
Let me pull it up. Oh yeah, it's breaking news right now. Who is this person? One Direction.
Yeah, so he was on the UK X Factor, I think in like 2011. And so the boy band were formed by Simon Cowell. And then he got together with another girl band member in the UK, Cheryl, and had a baby. And I'm just really upset because I know what that's going to do to the family with having kids. Because my brother was 32 when he died and had an 18-month-old and another baby on the way. So I'm just, yeah, really quite emotional at the moment. So excuse me, I might have to.
Is that
Yeah.
him there? So you guys are brokenhearted right now, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, they broke America, didn't they? One Direction. You might not have heard of them, but I was never a fan of the band or of his, but it just resonates with me that he's left behind a young son. So yeah, feeling a bit, yeah. So excuse me, I might have to pop off. As I said in the chat, I'm quite hormonal at the moment as well. So yeah, all this stuff with Abby and Libby as well.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah. But with Abby and Libby.
Buenos Aires?
Yeah, Buenos Aires in Argentina.
That's awful. How did he die?
Well, they're saying he fell off a third floor.
Oh, so this is going to be under scrutiny for sure.
Yeah.
Nobody just falls off a balcony, do they?
No, I think they were saying that he's been having issues with drugs and alcohol in the past. And yeah, it's another mental health thing, isn't it? Like I was saying on another stream, like with the whole Abby and Libby thing, it's going to be tough and you need to look after your own mental health. So if you do need to speak to someone, please do reach out to them.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry to come into the channel being all down and everything, but it's just literally breaking news in the UK within like the last half an hour. So yeah, it's just shocking.
Have you heard the story of Allison Jones?
Hello, can't hear you.
Yeah, have you heard the story of Allison Jones?
No.
Okay, here, let me play this video for you here.
County, a 7-year-old boy shot to death in his bedroom. And tonight, his mother is in jail, charged with murder. Investigators say...
Wait, can you hear that?
Yes.
Okay. Chat, can you hear that? Okay, this is relating to the Delphi murders. Okay, everybody pay attention to this. This kind of goes to what she's talking about.
County, a 7-year-old boy shot to death in his bedroom. And tonight, his mother is in jail, charged with murder. Investigators say it was the woman's husband, the boy's father, who called 911 early this morning. John Chiric is on that story for us tonight.
Investigators continued to work inside this home into the night, gathering evidence where a 7-year-old boy was shot to death by, they say, his own mother.
He was in a bedroom in the house.
His bedroom?
Yes, sir.
Chief Deputy Keith Howard with the Morgan County Sheriff's Office says investigators have charged 36-year-old Allison Jones with killing her 7-year-old son, Maddox, and they're also charging her with shooting at her husband, Maddox's father, Douglas Jones, firing several rounds from a handgun. Doug Jones called 911 at about 7 a.m.
Well, he was calling to report that his son had been shot.
Howard says deputies arrested Allison Jones at the home without incident, interviewed both parents to try to figure out what led up to the shooting.
We had no prior calls to service here that we could tell domestic related, but the information we were provided right now between the husband and the wife, that's what we're vetting through to see if the crime scene matches their statements.
It's a total shock.
Liz Marchant is the president of the Riverwalk at Appalachia Homeowners Association. Each home in this subdivision, about 70 miles east of Atlanta, sits on more than 5 acres. Morgan County records show Doug Jones bought the home in 2015. Nice neighbors, Marchant says.
We are all just devastated for this family, and it's truly just heartbreaking.
The GBI will conduct an autopsy and ballistics tests. The mother remains in the Morgan County Detention Center.
Okay, I have one more here. One more video.
A mother charged with shooting her 7-year-old son to death on March 1, 2021, pleaded guilty but mentally ill in Morgan County Superior Court on Wednesday, January 3. Allison Gail Jones, 39, was sentenced to life with the possibility of parole by Superior Court Judge Stephen Bradley. According to District Attorney Wright Barksdale, Jones would be eligible for parole when she is 70 years old, but, Barksdale told Judge Bradley, our hope is she never gets out of prison. Jones pleaded guilty but mentally ill to 1 count of felony murder. Jones was arrested early in the morning of March 1, 2021, at the Riverwalk subdivision residence she shared with her husband Douglas Jones and the couple's 7-year-old son, Maddox, soon after Douglas Jones had called Morgan County Dispatch to report the killing. When Morgan County Sheriff's Office deputies began to arrive at the Riverwalk Road residence, Douglas Jones allegedly told investigators to arrest her. She did it. Maddox Jones, reports state, was shot while in his bed. Allison Jones then turned the gun on her husband, but he was able to disarm her and call police. She was initially charged with murder, felony murder, and aggravated assault. At Wednesday's hearing, District Attorney Barksdale told the court that Allison Jones had twice been diagnosed with mental illness, once by a state-provided doctor and again by a private doctor. Both mental health evaluations, he said, showed a history of mental health issues beginning when Allison Jones was 15 years old. At 17 years old, Barksdale told the court, Allison Jones attempted suicide and made a second attempt when she was 22 years old. He said she has been diagnosed with delusional disorder, major depressive disorder, and generally anxiety disorder. She also has a history of opioid abuse, Barksdale said. Allison Jones's Watkinsville-based defense attorney, Morris H. Wiltshire Jr., told Judge Bradley that Allison Jones's mental capacity at the time contributed to a murder that, he said, could not be explained. At the period of time when this horrible incident occurred, our belief is she was delusional beyond being able to function, he said. Allison Jones, dressed in yellow prison garb and wearing both handcuffs and leg shackles, stood before Judge Bradley, occasionally wiping tears from her chin. She kept both handcuffed hands clasped under her chin during the majority of the hearing. Barksdale said the child's murder, an incident that prompted Morgan County Primary School to hold a special memorial service on April 23, 2021, the day Maddox, a first grader at the school, would have turned 8 years old, was a horrible, horrible tragedy that impacted this community in a way that cannot be measured. Allison Jones told Judge Bradley that she wanted the community and her family to know how terribly sorry I am. I loved Maddox more than anything on this earth, she said. I'm truly sorry for what happened.
Well, the moral of the story is Allison there, she thought that her husband was the bridge guy.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah, she thought he was the bridge guy, and she killed her son to help him deal with the fact that his husband, or that his father was the Delphi killer. That's why she killed her son.
That is so messed up.
A lot of people don't know about this story.
Yeah, it's really tough. Like that poor boy.
Killed her boy and almost killed her husband because she thought he was the bridge guy, and she was trying to spare her son from knowing that her father was the Delphi killer.
God, so much crazy stuff happening in this world.
Yes, 100%. And the fact that it has to do with the Delphi murders is it just shows you kind of like the evil that's kind of surrounding the case.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that beautiful home. What else could you ask for?
Oh,
There's Maddox.
beautiful boy.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
So essentially, we say she didn't get the help that she needed.
No, not at all.
No.
Not from a young age. She was suffering from a young age. And the thing is, when you're suffering like that, you kind of learn to hide it the best you can. You know, you just want to mix in with people, you know. You don't want to be weird.
Yeah, exactly.
So you learn to hide it.
And just going back very quickly just to the Liam Payne thing. Obviously, these celebrities, they're in the public eye and they're under constant scrutiny. And you've got trolls on social media slagging them off and just like making horrible comments, making them feel really bad about themselves.
Well, they're just normal people.
Yeah, they're just normal people, but they're in the public eye.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad. It's sad. I think a lot's going to come come out about this now. We've had this with other celebrities in the UK. There was Caroline Flack, who was the presenter of Love Island in the UK. I don't know if you've got Love Island in the US. Yeah, so the UK, and she took her own life.
Wait, what's it called? What's it called?
Love Island. Caroline Flack. She was young. Well, she was my age. She would have been my age now.
Okay, that's popping up right there. Is that her there?
Yeah.
Perfect score in the final. What's Strictly Come Dancing? That's like Dancing with the Stars, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so she became famous real quick.
Yeah. She was really talented.
What? Playing Michael Jackson's pet chimpanzee Bubbles on the sketch show Bo Selecta?
Yeah. People in the UK will remember that.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
It's funny.
It's kind of, what is that, like Saturday Night Live?
No, it's like a guy with masks that just impersonates famous people. It's just really stupid, but it's funny.
Yeah, you got to be careful with all of that. You know, it reminds me of Hollywood.
Yeah. But yeah, she was very talented, and I think there was an altercation with her boyfriend at the time, and people online were claiming that she was an abuser and stuff, and she was due to go to court and face charges in court, and took her own life because of it.
An abuser? What were they accusing her of?
Well, I don't know exactly. I don't want to say because I don't know the facts. But I think there had been like some sort of domestic incident between her and her boyfriend, and he was found with blood all over him. And
they were saying she was like an abuser, like beating him.
But he wanted to drop the charges, and the police wouldn't let him. So yeah, she took her own life. It's just such a waste. Such a waste.
That's the thing about mental health. Like, it seems so much more overwhelming than what it really is.
Yeah, it really is. And at the time, you probably don't know that you're suffering that badly. But you know, it's nothing to be ashamed of, to like go and get help.
No, not at all. And I think that that's the stigma right there, is that people don't realize that. Just go get help. Just reach out, say something. But there are instances where folks do reach out, you know, and even then they don't get the help that they need. So
yeah, exactly. Like here in the UK, we've got the national health system, and I think you've got like at least a six month wait to get help for mental issues.
Yeah, you should be able to check yourself into a hospital, and then the day that you check in, you're admitted.
Yeah.
Whether it's just for 24 hours or whatever, you know, just let me check in, like I'm having thoughts of hurting myself or hurting others. I just want to check myself in. You know, it's that simple.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky because I've got private health insurance through work, so I can basically, if I needed to, I could speak to someone probably that day.
Yeah, maybe even over the phone.
Yeah, or through Zoom or whatever.
Yeah, we have that too.
Yeah, so you've got these benefits through big companies like I work for, but some people haven't got that.
Most people don't have that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't have that, so I'm fortunate. And I probably don't make the most of it because I should talk to people sometimes. But actually, this is my therapy at the moment.
Yeah, I had an issue with my daughter not too long ago, and they were like, "Yeah, this is a serious issue." It wasn't like a mental thing, but there was something going on with her. She had a kidney infection,
Okay.
and they kind of pinpointed what it was just over the phone. And we went to the emergency room, and they took care of it. She had a kidney infection. They prescribed her some medicine, and it took care of it.
That's good to hear. So
Yeah.
she's okay now.
Yeah, they actually they took care of her.
Good. Yeah, it was like when I had my appendicitis, 2010. I had to go to the here in the UK. There's no private emergency hospital. You have to go to the NHS hospital, A&E, accident and emergency, and you have to wait ages. Basically, you have to sit there. Some people sit there for like 12 hours before they're seen, but I was triaged to.
Wait, how many hours?
Some people sit there for 12 hours, but I was triaged because obviously it was an emergency. I'd been seen by a doctor.
That's awful.
Thought that I had appendicitis, and they put me in the ward for the night. And then the next morning, the doctor came round and said, yeah, we're not going to be able to operate on you today because we're too busy. And I said, well, isn't this an emergency? You know, I could die from this. And he said,
Yeah,
oh,
isn't it potentially life-threatening?
Yeah, appendicitis is, yeah. And because if your appendix bursts, then you get all this bacteria all over.
Well, that's what we thought it was.
Yeah.
Like, we thought
Yeah.
that's what was going on with my daughter. We thought that she had appendicitis.
Yeah, but the doctor was like, no, it's fine because you've been on IV antibiotics all night. So I was lucky that I had the private health insurance, and I called the company. I was well enough to call them on the phone and told them, and they said, yeah, that's fine, we'll cover it. Get yourself to a local private hospital. The doctor came back and I said, look, you know, I've got private insurance. And he said, okay, can you get yourself across to the hospital nearby? And I said, yeah. My mum took me to the hospital. No ambulance or anything. No ambulance is available. Mum put me in the car. Was in agonising pain. And put me in my own private room. And then operated on me within a couple of hours. And that was it. All done. All better. So yeah, we've got a problem with the NHS here, and I just feel for people who haven't got that private insurance.
Well, there's just no motivation to really help people.
No.
With all the money that we spend, like with taxes, you know what I mean? We're talking billions of dollars. Nobody's here. Nobody's helping us. We're not represented.
I know. You think, when I look at my paycheck every month, I look at how much I've paid in tax.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, you know, that's crazy amount of money.
Just to go to like an emergency room and sit there. You're going to sit in the waiting room
for 12 hours.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's happening today with Abby and Libby? I haven't had a chance to look at your other stream yet.
Some of the things that I heard is that Richard Allen had confessed to killing his own family and his grandchildren. But if you think about it, he kind of did, right, for himself.
Yeah. So that's come from the defense again.
I haven't verified it. It came from I heard this on Court TV. I think it was Barb McDonald and a couple other channels. But apparently he stated in one of his confessions he killed his family and his daughter and his grandchildren. But if you really think about it, he kind of did when it comes to himself, right?
Yeah.
Like he did. And we talked about that before Richard Allen was arrested. We said, whoever this killer is, you know, he's afraid. What's motivating him to stay quiet is he's afraid of the relationships that he's going to destroy. So in a way, for him, he did kill those things. I mean, if he's locked in prison, those things don't exist to him.
Yeah, I know. But I just wonder if that's him just trying to look insane.
Yep, feigning. 100%.
Yeah.
Remember he had the whole poop stuff? Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I did.
There was people who went into a courtroom and did things like that. They wiped, they pulled poop from their pants, or they were in their jail cells and they were rubbing poop on them. And it only bought them 3 weeks to 3 months. But the truth is, that's it. After that, they ended up being convicted. So I think he's smart enough to know if he's a killer, that he needs to act crazy, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Especially after confessing. Let's say I have an interview with Jerry Holman, and he says, "Hey, man, we know that you're involved in this. We found your bullet. Now we're locking you up. We have probable cause." Okay. And then you lock me up. I'm going to start acting crazy.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if he did do that to the girls, he's capable of anything, isn't he?
that's the point I've been trying to make. If he is guilty of killing 2 girls in the middle of the day, he's obviously out of his mind, and he's proving that by wiping feces all over himself and eating shit that he is crazy. And that fits the profile of the person who killed Abby and Libby.
Yeah.
I mean, you could accuse me of murder and lock me in solitary confinement. There's nothing that's going to make me eat my own shit.
Yeah.
Only a crazy person is going to do that.
So, is there a court in session tomorrow?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
So
I believe they're swearing in. They're going to swear in all the jurors and the alternates and all of that. But I think the opening statement is going to be on Friday the 18th.
And that's going to bring out most of the information, isn't it?
From the prosecution, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to be broadcasting that. So make sure you guys tune in, and we're going to have everything consolidated. Yeah, we're going to cover that play by play for sure. I think we're going to learn a lot.
Yeah, it might be quite hard to take. So yeah, as I say, just be aware, people.
The prosecution, remember, they took samples from his car.
Yeah.
So if he is the killer, he took his jacket and he took his clothing and he threw it in the trunk, or he threw it in the passenger seat. They took samples from both, from the carpet on the ground. So the defense, they wanted to throw out the hair early on. I think it was very misleading, because they knew that the prosecution didn't have time to react to that. They weren't expecting that.
Didn't they think that the hair? They didn't know that it was in Abby's hand. Well, we didn't know it was in Abby's hand initially, but they were talking about the hair found on the scene. But weren't, I mean, I don't know if it's true, but there were rumors that they were looking to dig up the cat. Were they digging up the cat to find if it was?
I don't know. There's a lot of talk about that. A lot of the information about the cat comes from the neighbor, and he never mentioned a cat. I think a lot of people put 2 and 2 together. They said, hey, in the Ron Logan affidavit, they were looking for animal hair. And the neighbor said that they were digging up near the fire pit. But they didn't dig up the entire fire pit. They used some tools, which could be what? Metal detectors. It could be looking for like anything that was dead. But
like radar sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah, or the radar. But according to the neighbor, they dug 3 small holes and then they were done quickly. So it's almost as if they found what they were looking for. So I'm not sure.
So it sounds like they knew what they were looking for, really.
Yeah, according to the neighbor. But I don't know how much to put into that.
So like things like USB ports, maybe
Yeah, maybe.
photos, that kind of thing.
Yeah, something definitely hidden. Maybe buttons from a jacket.
God, that's so messed up, isn't it?
Yeah. It
Anyway,
is
I'm gonna
messed up.
let you crack on. I'm gonna go. But thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
Hopefully
thanks for calling in.
we'll join. Yeah. All
Thank you,
right.
Miss Dog Lover.
Everyone. Bye.
Take care. All right, guys. We're focused in on the chat. If anybody else wants to call in, you're more than welcome. You don't have to feel pressured. We have about 30 more minutes to hang out. Otherwise, we're going to hang out in the chat. Stephanie, good to see you. I never heard of mental health until a few years ago. My mom, dad never mentioned it. But I see now with my kids and myself, it's everywhere. Yeah, I agree, Ziggy. Urinary tract infection can really mess with the mind in certain cases. She's from the UK. Roxy, hello. My granddaughter used to get them all the time, and poor thing would be out of her mind till antibiotics kicked in. Yeah, antibiotics are very important. Probably the most important thing to mankind, honestly. Christine, Louise, your appendix burst. Tell me about that. Pepper Westwood said, "Can she read Little Red Riding Hood?" Exactly. Her voice is magnificent, and I would tell her that, but I don't want to. I don't want to get her distracted. But yes, 100% amazing. Oh yeah, that's for Channel 2, man. Hey, Cindy. The temp here is going to get 31 degrees. What the hell? I wish. Thought he said he wanted to kill them. Not that he did. Yeah, and I don't know 100%, Stephanie. From what I understand is there's 2 reports that said he did kill them. Julia, he confessed to killing his family and grandchildren. That I don't know. That's what I'm hearing. There's reports that that is what's happened. He doesn't have any grandchildren. But if you think about it, if he's convicted of killing Abby and Libby, that's, that's kind of what he did. Like, he doesn't get to experience his grandchildren and things like that. So I'm not quite sure what that all means. Yep, there are reports of that. Chickbait, how you doing? He hypothetically said they are dead. Exactly, Sue. Yeah, hypothetically. The same reason that he's looking for forgiveness and to see his family in heaven could kind of fit into the fact that he will never get to see his grandchildren. For them, he killed that opportunity. But at the same time, if somebody can be guilty, be locked up in solitary confinement, and then be subjected to psychosis and start to give false confessions, people are very strange. Sorry, guys. I had to mute because I stood up to grab something and I stubbed my toe. I feel like I broke it. It hurts so bad. I don't know. Maybe not. It's my pinky toe. It hurts like a mofo. Maybe, Stephanie. Maybe. Stephanie, he doesn't have grandchildren. He said that because what he's accused of, in my opinion. Well, yeah, and at the same time, Shane, if one of his main stressors that led to the crime was his daughter getting married and leaving his home, if your daughter says, "Hey, Dad, I just got engaged, and by the way, I'm moving out. I'm gonna go move in with my fiance, and we're getting married at the end of 2017." One thing that you can assume is that they're going to have grandbabies. Eventually, she's going to get pregnant and she's going to have grandbabies, right? So, to me, it kind of falls into the whole stressor category, you know? So, at the same time, that if he's stressed out about his daughter leaving, moving out, getting married, having babies, and having her own family, he fucked up, right? He killed that for himself. Whether or not he killed his grandbabies, in some twisted way, for himself, he did kill it. Exactly, Julia. Anyone know if I can call in using Safari as my browser? Yeah, you can. You can call in using Safari. Technically, that's how you have to, using your phone. And we still have 15 minutes. So anybody that wants to call in, you have 15 minutes, and then I got to go figure out dinner. Pitbull Mom. Sleuth. Richard Allen did kill his family and Future. Yep. And that's what I'm saying. That's the point I'm trying to make. He killed that. And that could explain why he's looking for forgiveness. He killed all of that in this world. The only way he gets to see them now is if he's forgiven and he makes it to heaven, according to him. Yeah, Luis. He only cared about his daughter. That's it. He was willing to confess and tell the investigators everything, as long as it didn't get back to his daughter. But the moment that one piece of the information was released, he stopped cooperating. I thought he doesn't have grandchildren, but potentially he does, right? If he wouldn't have committed this murder and gone to prison, he would have had grandchildren, right? His daughter would have been married. She would have kids, and he would have grandbabies. So in a way, he did kill his grandbabies. He killed his family. He killed his grandbabies. He killed them, from him. He eliminated them from his own life. I think he may have, Shane. I've seen 2 reports that he claimed that some of his confessions he claimed that he did kill his own family and his grandbabies. But I mean, how do you interpret that? If you're going to prison for the rest of your life, isn't that true? Yeah, I don't think you need to download anything. I think you can just hit the link and then you can join in. But we only have 10 minutes left, so it's up to you. Otherwise, we're just going to focus in on the chat. Louise says Aspen said during psychosis, Richard Allen was able to keep track of the amount of meals he declined so he wouldn't get in trouble. Yeah, I don't know much about that. Stephanie says he doesn't deserve grandchildren anyway. Yeah, that might be what he's referring to. Like the fact that I killed Abby and Libby means that I don't get to enjoy my grandchildren. And the older I get, the more I understand that, right? It's kind of like the next stage in things. You have kids and then eventually you have grandbabies. You look forward to it almost. Kind of hard to look forward to it when you're in prison. So in a way, he did kill his grandbabies. He killed them from himself. That's for damn sure. What's up, Mustang? Potentially, right? If they convict him. We don't know. They're going through trial, so. Kate B says we are what we eat. Ricky's full of shit. Yeah, he definitely was eating shit. Yeah. I don't care how long I'm in solitary confinement. You'll never catch me eating shit. So something's definitely wrong with the guy. And I'm telling you guys. Hey, what's up, Cynthia? Welcome in, Cynthia Hudson. We got about 10 minutes. How you doing?
Good. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, get it off your chest.
So I've been wanting to share this story for about 2 months. So it is Delphi related, but a little bit off topic.
All right, go for it.
Back in August, you were doing a live stream, and I happened to be in West Lafayette with my husband and adult son. So, of course, they knew my interest in this case, and we had some time to kill. So we drove out to the bridge.
Okay.
So they, of course, walked ahead of me because I was listening to your podcasts live. We were talking about religion and, things like that. So
Yep.
I was born, raised Catholic, but like you, I share the belief.
Yeah, I was baptized Catholic as well. But
but I don't go to Catholic church, but I am a Christian, and I and I do pray, but not overtly.
I'm not a Bible thumper is what I like to say.
Exactly. So I'm walking on this trail. By the way, it's like a jungle right now. So we were the only people out there initially. Um, I guess if I'm honest with myself, I was scanning the bushes, scanning the water. Am I going to find a bullet? I don't think at the time we knew about the razor blade. I was
Well,
looking,
shit, you never know.
yeah, looking for a knife, anything. So I have always associated Abby and Libby with deer because I seem to recall that the searchers were drawn to where the bodies were because a deer may have drawn somebody's attention to that. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but that's always
Well,
what
the
I
story
thought.
goes that Pat Brown was he had an inclination that they might be down there, that the searchers weren't searching correctly, and he wanted to be down there as early as possible. And Kelsey and a group were on the bridge on the south side, and then here comes Pat Brown going down in that area, and he first thing he noticed were some deer that were kind of sniffing around the bodies. And as he got closer, he spooked them.
So I'm glad that there was some basis to why I thought that. So while you're giving this live show, I'm on the bridge by myself. I have this friend that once told me, if you say a prayer from your heart and it's true and, God will hear you, she's extremely religious. So I'm totally by myself listening to your podcast. We're talking about this stuff. I say a prayer in my heart from all of us. I think I even made a comment on your channel,
Yeah,
you know,
that's magic. That's
please
magic.
please let them find true justice for these two young girls. And I turned around to leave and my husband said, do you want a photograph? I'm like, no, I took a picture of the bridge, but this is a crime scene, not something I'm going to put in a photo album.
Mhm.
So we turn around, we start walking back on the trail, and my husband and son are in front of me, and they're frozen on the trail. So I step up behind them, and I kid you not, out of the spot where the girls entered the tracks came an adult deer and two babies frozen there looking at us. And I kid you not, I felt like it was a sign that my prayers were heard, but I'm
Uh-huh.
still frozen in my spot. And then my husband said, no, there's four deer. There's one hidden in the background. Look, two adults and two children. And I was dumbstruck. Like it really got to me that I felt like it was a real message from the beyond. I don't think like that. Again, I'm not overtly religious, but it was a really strange experience. Um, I just wanted to share that with everybody. It really got to me. I videotaped it. Where it just it kind of makes you really wonder if you truly believe maybe somebody did hear. My heart was pure. I had no intention of being there other than to support them. um I just wanted to share that. It's kind of shocked me ever since then. So while I've
Oh,
always
I
thought
know exactly what you're talking about.
lone
Um,
killer acted alone, but that shadow, and my husband's like,
mhm.
no, there's a shadow in the background. It's another deer, another adult deer. So ever since then, I think there's some other X factor hidden in the background.
Well, if you think about it, we're literally given this life. We're floating around on this rock that's floating through space, right?
Yeah.
And people, they question the idea of magic. What's more magical than that? So to think of something like that in the afterlife, um, it's 100% pure.
That's how I felt. It was very, very, very bizarre. I wanted to make a comment on the hair too. This
Yeah.
is completely random. I believe that they either know who the hair is that transfer. They know who it is. But it occurred to me out of nowhere. Remember that woman doctor that nobody could figure out why she got a subpoena for a deposition?
Which doctor are you referring to?
They didn't know. We never knew who she was. Like a cardiologist, like 2 months ago in like a different town.
Okay.
I just wondered, is there, you can trace DNA, like I do that as a hobby. I wondered, was she just the random transfer? I don't know why I thought that. Just something to think about. Who was that doctor? How is she related really to this matter. That hair could have come from the water. And there's another X factor that nobody talks about. Purdue University is a 20-minute drive, and they have 40,000 students there who go out and use those trails. They don't, do you know what I mean? There's like a whole group of people that don't even watch the news and maybe didn't even know what happened to Libby and Abby that day. Just kind of a thought of where the random hair could have come from, or transfer from a one of the girls was into swimming or something. I mean, that it's been
That's what I'm thinking.
yeah. So I kind of suspect that maybe there's enough markers that they know who potentially it's related to. It just kind of stuck out at me as odd. Like,
Well,
how
they
would,
did genetic genealogy. Apparently, they spent quite a bit of money. I think 20 grand on that. And the fact that they didn't find anything, it just makes me think that it was a young person.
oh,
And
that's what made me bring up Purdue. So,
yeah,
for example, for example, there's a lot of Indian students. So you might have found a hair from somebody who was visiting the trails from the local massive college, and they're less likely to input a piece of hair and find any genetic relation that they can, like, this person's Indian or from a different country. So it just kind of I don't hear too many people talk about that, but Purdue has students from all over the world.
yeah, and I'm thinking more like it's somebody that's just young.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're young, why would you have some kind of criminal database?
Yeah, I
Why would
agree.
you be in a criminal database if you're some young person and your
Yeah.
family isn't, part of that lifestyle?
As a hobby, I do genetic genealogy on myself. So when I did my first DNA, like ancestry.com, it would show me like, this is your fourth cousin. Like, I shared four.
Mhm.
So you're right. Most people, they would have had to have found some match somewhere. But that's just very strange to me. I'm curious to find out.
Well, that's a good point. I think we can talk about that. When it comes to the genealogy, I mean, obviously they found something. I mean,
Mhm.
it's not like they found nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. You wouldn't have found, you would have,
But you got to break it down. They have to they kind of got to piece it together. So maybe it's something they're still working on.
or they already know who it is, or it's not human.
Yeah, I think it's human.
I kind of think it's human too, but I'm wondering if they
I
even
say
know.
it's a young person that's maybe on the swim team or connected to them, but
I agree.
you
Well,
know,
I just wanted to share that story on the trails. It was really spooky hearing you talk,
yeah.
Sharon,
Mhm.
talking about prayers, and then out of the woods stepped what was initially 3 turned into 4 deer. So thank you for all you do, and thanks for letting me join.
Thank you, Cynthia. Have a great day.
You too, guys.
Bye. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it. We'll catch up on the chat, but that's our hour. So, sometimes I feel it's important to open up the panel and give you guys that hour to reach out and speak your piece. So I appreciate all of you guys, and I'll see you mañana. Take care, everybody. Have a great night. Bye.